Hello, everyone. Meliea here, pulling a card, and Moonstone, my cat, under the table, fussing at me. Um, Pulling a card and talking a little bit about the energy of this lunar cycle for August. Our Leo new moon just happened a couple of days ago. So, what does this lunar cycle hold for us? And I am reading for the Amazing Grace of Mediocre Mystic podcast. Always an honor to read for Grace's listeners and followers, and for my own. So I pulled a card to see what is the energy that we need to be talking about, and I pulled the Harvest of Stones. If you are listening rather than watching on video, this card has mama and baby buffalo under a rainy sky with a rainbow in the background. Just a beautiful card that brings about a really strong energy, but also a really calm energy, a very intentional energy. And that's what we're going to talk about for this lunar cycle. So right now, as I'm recording this, Hurricane Debbie or Tropical Storm Debbie, wherever Debbie is at right now in her strength training, is making landfall around South Carolina. And we are getting some bands of rain and wind and things like that. So there's some preparation happening here, and it's very intentional, right? Because we kind of know what's coming. This energy has been building, it's been flowing. We've had some clues along the way. We've had some reports. We've got science. We've got all of that that is telling us what is happening, what is going on. And so we are now taking intentional action, right? Now, look, that intentional action, it doesn't have to be rushed. We've known this was coming. So we are just moving very intentionally. I'm ordering some groceries. I'm doing some things that I don't want to have to get out and do over the next couple of days if it's torrential downpour. So it's not an impulsive energy by any means, and that is not the energy of this cycle. Leo is bold, Leo is strong and comes in with a roar, but that doesn't mean it comes in impulsively or recklessly. The lion is actually a very strategic animal who will sit for a long time and observe what's going on before making moves and making a plan. So that's the energy we are embracing for this lunar cycle. So my question to you is, what energy have you seen moving into your life? You know it's been building. You know it's coming. What things are coming down the pike for you? What things have been knocking at your door that you now need to open up and expand, allow to flow through and come into completion? That's what we want to do. As we move toward that full moon, we want to expand on those dynamics and those energies. But we also don't want to be reactive. We want to be active, but not reactive. So, number one, nervous system regulation. Take a breath, step back, look at what it is, observe, and ask yourself, what is the next very intentional action that I need to take in what I want to see happen here? There's no rush. There's no need to rush. Just look at it and ask. And then also, like asking yourself, how can I be bold with this energy? What do I need? Do I need to push myself out? Do I need to sit down and push myself to put together this strategy? What have you been putting off? And now this energy is going to come flowing in and it's ready. It's right for you, but you haven't prepared for it. You haven't created a strategy. You don't have a plan. That's the same thing that's happening with Debbie and the storm right now. Like, we're good as long as we have a plan, as long as we are being intentional about it. So the energy we want to expand at the new moon, at the full moon, is the energy to step back and take a pause. Take a pause. look around, see what you need to do. What do you need to add to this energy, to this situation, to this experience? And what do you need to actually take your hands off of and let it just flow naturally and let it be? What is the thing that's going to move this energy, this experience, this dynamic that you are setting intentions for? What is going to move it forward? Does it need action on your part? Does it need step back? Does it need for you to take your hands off of it and just let it flow and not get in the way? That's going to be really important for us to ask ourselves as we move through the energy of this cycle. So that bold and courageous energy is sometimes to step back and not do anything. And sometimes it's to take steps forward and take very intentional action. But check in with yourself, check in with what's happening in your body and in your mind. Am I being reactive right now? Reactive energy right now, there's a Mercury retrograde coming in here. So this reactive energy right now is probably not going to end in something good for us. It's probably not going to help us to feel and experience what we really want. It may give us kind of a dopamine hit in the moment, but down the road, it's not going to be part of the package that we're wanting to open and see. So step back, pause, use your tools to regulate your nervous system, but also get out your journal. If you haven't done it in a while, that's okay. Get it out today. Start observing. Be the lion sitting on the cliff, looking out over everything and observing what energy do you see moving around you? What energy is moving in your life? Write it down. The next thing you're going to ask yourself is, what intentional action do I need to take toward this energy to encourage it to continue to flow, to bring it to fruition, to bring it to completion? Remembering that that intentional action might be step back and get out of the way. And then how can you expand on that pause? How can you learn to sit in that observation and be more proactive and intentional rather than reactive? That is the bold energy that this lunar cycle is asking us to consider, asking us to work with, and asking us to pull into our own life and to embody in our minds and in our spirits and in our bodies. So be the buffalo. You've given birth to something. Remember that this is energy that's already here. It's already flowing. This is not us creating something new. This is something we've already created. How do we nurture this? How do we make a plan to nurture this and bring it to completion? How do we move what we've birthed through the growth process and bring it to completion without being reactive, by being very intentional, by being very bold, and being very strategic? Strategy is just as much magic as spontaneity and synchronicity. So embrace that, pull it in, make it yours, and see what happens in this lunar cycle, because the next lunar cycle is a very different energy all around. And I cannot wait to talk a little bit more about that. Thanks for listening. Let me know, come over and visit me. I am trying to pick up again, and part of the energy that's been flowing in me is to be more of an activist now that some things have shifted in the political arena. And so I have tried to reawaken the Evangelical Anti-Devotional on Instagram again. I'm going to try to start talking a little bit more. Listen, I'm shaking in my boots, like going through two very big grief situations in my life. really set me back nervous system wise. So I'm with you in this, having to regulate my nervous system, not be reactive, but also move with the energy that I know is moving through me, that I know is moving around me, and that I am supposed to be part of. So I am with you on it. My knees are shaking a little bit, but I have reawakened over there. So I'd love for you to come follow me at the Exvangelical Anti-Devotional. And if you would like me to pull a card for you, do a reading for you, shoot me a DM and we can work that out. Thank you, Mediocre Mystic podcast listeners, and I will see you again soon with the reading for the next cycle.